Even in the worst days possible, if I write something down, if I draw something, it's proof that I've lived. Hi, I am Jason Raymond, GLHS Student Council President, Varsity Volleyball Captain, and Senior here. What inspires me is the idea of culture and how important it is to keep passing it down. Stuff that you can't know unless you experience, or you can't know unless you hear a story. And it's interesting how the narratives and the stories change, but I'm on a path to maintain the originality, the genuineness to it, and what our stories are and what they have been and what they will be in the future. No matter what I do or where I've been, in the car, during a math test, I've always not been able to put a pen down. And that's the one thing I know I could do forever, so it would seem like an injustice to myself to not continue and do those things. Because that's me, and that's how I feel the most energy comes from me, and out onto something is through just a pen. And maybe a marker if I'm feeling fancy, but pen, cheap paper, that's my favorite thing, hands down, to draw with. One of my pieces that's in the final round of the Governor's Show, I drew it on a table with a pen I found. I titled the piece Rhythm, and it encapsulates just a flow, and it makes the figure appear as if they're dancing across the page, or lifelike. It's if you can capture motion and life on a 2D piece of paper, a flat thing, and make someone feel immersed in the experience, you've done your job as an artist and you've tricked the eye, and that in itself is magic. I love that mural back there. I love this painting. Those are pretty cool, but I guarantee I'll come back after graduation and I'll be like, I could have done that better. There's something else I could have done. I missed a detail there. So it's constantly about growth and moving on and moving forward. This coach I had for track, he didn't believe in putting your trophies up because you would just look at those and be like, oh, I did it, so why do it again? If you put your trophies away and you leave that shelf empty, you're gonna constantly look for things to fill that with. You're gonna constantly look for accomplishments and achievements and art that you can fill those moments with. The painting behind me, I took that picture of myself and like during quarantine, and all the people were just walking in the neighborhood. I'm just like in my front window without my shirt on, and it's a reaction to the BLM movement, that social movement that's been happening and continues to happen. It's just supposed to encapsulate the reaction you get every time you see another headline, you see another name, you see another protest, another Instagram, another hashtag. The blue and the pinkish red tones are supposed to represent the lighting of a police car, but it's derived a bit because we get away from that message and what's actually at the root of the problems. There's headlines on it. The piece is called Headlines. There's a lot of headlines from the movement and names, and I actually signed my name because you never know the millions of mothers who worry they might see their name of their child in a hashtag next. When I started working on it, we were reading Invisible Man in AP Lit, and there's a part where our narrator gets these gold coins, and he thinks he's won, and he thinks he's made it. It's about a black man and what it's like to be invisible in society, but he realizes that the coins are gilded and they're made of worthless metal, and that it's only gold on the outside. So here, our background is just the gold leaf, and it looks pretty, it looks real, but in reality it's very cheap compared to real gold. So it's gold. So it's about that unattainable prize, that unattainable freedom, the idea that we wrap up freedom in this shell that's supposed to look pretty, that's supposed to look good, but you get down to the heart of it and you get down to what our freedom really is, and it's fake. It's very thin. I want to tell stories about the importance and the power of passing those things on, and get back to lost messages, things my grandma knew that I had never know, things my dad and mom know, because they did immigrate from Ghana. Stuff that you can't know unless you experience, or you can't know unless you hear a story. I have a portrait of my grandmother because she passed away recently, and it's what I started my portfolio off with because it just felt right to start with the woman that was an entrepreneur, a businesswoman that enabled me to have the tools that I have today. And you'll see in that one that there are a lot of colors and whatnot. When you look away from it, you're still seeing those colors and that impact you left in the world, which is why I chose to paint it that way. Another one of my grandma, it's not a portrait, but it's a picture of her in front of the Bertelsmann building in Manhattan. And I titled that piece Origins, and it won a gold key at Scholastic. I'm going to New York, my origins, and getting back. Then I'm gonna find myself and project out wherever in the world I find myself next. The idea about finding your light, people just say, shine your light. People say, like, just be bright in the world, but nobody ever tells you at some point you're gonna have to figure out how and why, when and where you want to be bright and where you're gonna get that light from. That's why it says find your light and not be bright or shine your light, because not everyone has it yet. Everyone can find one and find it in themselves or find it outside of them. That's why it says that. And the effects around him are primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. I promise I know my primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. And it's because you can build anything from those colors. I am very excited to have committed to Pride Institute in Brooklyn, New York, to continue studying animation and art in general, and also play volleyball at the collegiate level. My advice is make bad art, make horrible art. There has to be a point where you sit down and say, man, I could have done better. If you make something that's perfect every time and you never challenge yourself, you'll never grow as an artist. Make something that seems a little too hard. Choose a project that seems a little too big, a little too ambitious, and then be surprised at what you can do and how fast you can grow and the opportunities you can get from making bad art. And prove to yourself that you are not only an artist, but a grower, and to grow means you're human.